Good afternoon, one and all, short and tall, big and small.
Let me begin by
saying a very happy International Women's Day to one and all. For those of us who need to be reminded, International Women's Day is a global annual celebration which happens on March 8th, where we celebrate the cultural, political, socio-economic, creative achievements of women. Now, there is a little bit of uncertainty about when exactly it began. You will find some dates going all the way back to 1908, when there was a big uprising in Europe. Why are we always saying these things? We're saying it now, and it's happening now, with women demanding to have their rights. Every year, International Women's Day has a theme sanctioned by the United Nations, and the theme this year is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. There is also always a sub-theme, and the sub-theme this year is Break the Bias. In case you're wondering why I'm wearing purple, it's one of the 3 official colors for International Women's Day. Purple signifies justice and dignity, green symbolizes hope, and white represents purity. I can hear the controversy now. What exactly is that? But these have been the colors since 1908. So maybe there will be another uprising, say, we will wear the white, but take out the little piece about purity. This is the 7th occasion at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts is celebrating International Women's Day under the theme Electric Boogie, because we mean to break out and party. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your patience out there in Zoomland. You still have time to tell your friends that they can polish up a few steps, because at the end we're going to be dancing. Why are we having a special International Women's Day electric this year? This year marks the 45th anniversary of the institution, which has come to be called the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. And if you beat your chest, then you go back to 1976. And the young people who are watching know absolutely nothing about the original calculator. And chess. So we go back to 1976. And there was something wonderful which happened in Jamaica in 1976. The second Caribbean Festival of Arts was hosted by Jamaica. So the birth of the college and the hosting of CARIFESTA happened in the same year. So we kind of feel that we and CARIFESTA are twins. Come into that. So the first CARIFESTA was held in Guyana in 1972. But do you know that that was not the first Caribbean Festival of Arts? The first Caribbean Festival of Arts was held in Puerto Rico in 1952. And do you know that when the West Indies Federation was contemplated, it was contemplated around a Caribbean Festival of Arts? And in fact, one was held in Trinidad and Tobago. So it seems as if what those festivals breathed into the air reached Guyana before it reached the ears of one Mr. Forbes Burnham, because there were some writers who were gathered for a meeting. And one day we will talk about all of the Caribbean cultural organizations that came and went, but the people who came with them are still here. And so one of the times that they came and went, they went to Guyana. and they had this big discussion that it's about time. And they got the heirs of Mr. Burnham, who agreed with them that it's about time. The first CARIFESTA attracted the participation of 1,000 plus artists from over 30 Caribbean and South American countries. Now, I want to jump down a little bit to the aims of CARIFESTA so we can see why this is linked to the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. When I looked at it, I thought, but aren't these the core values, the curriculum objectives of the Edna Manley College? To establish and celebrate the arts as the most important dynamic force for reflecting on our dreams and visions in the process of self-affirmation of the Caribbean personality. It's a whole heap of them, but I think that summarizes it. I want to read what a former Secretary General of the Caribbean community said. Edwin Carrington said, CARIFESTA embodies Caribbean integration. It is here that the people of the region come together, commingle, creating one community, one people. That is integration. Further, this event strengthens the bonds between us, displays our creativity and ingenuity, and demonstrates to the world the best that this region has to offer. I want to hear somebody say, yay, EMCVPA, because that too is our mission. So in this 45th anniversary of the college, we're looking back to look forward under the theme, Rising, Responding. And so we thought, let's go back to the kind of the beginning. And in the kind of the beginning, CARIFESTA in Jamaica was anchored by some women who we want to describe as Talawa. I don't see any of them little. And if they were little at that time, they certainly are robust now. Mrs. Vilma McDonald worked in the Ministry of Education at all levels. She was responsible for all public schools. That's a whole heap of them. Whole heap of public schools. Yes. She now serves on the board of the CCRP, the Caribbean, help me, Miss Jean, Community of Retired Persons. That's none of us up here. But at the time of CARIFESTA, she was working at the Ministry of Finance, and somebody laid hands on her and said, we want you here as part of the driving force behind CARIFESTA. And then there is a lady called Dr. Lorna Goodison, who between 2017 and 2020 was the Poet Laureate of Jamaica. But but she's a painter. I can't say was. She's a painter, she's a teacher, she's a poet, she's a playwright. What do you play name again? Yeah. You don't want us to remember that. Okay, so we won't remember it. But she also worked in advertising. And somebody laid hands on her and said, we want your skills as creative director of CARIFESTA. We will hear more about that in a little while. And then Jean Lowrie-Chin. Jean Lowrie-Chin is a communications consultant. As we just discovered, she's an advocate for seniors, an author, soul dance, much acclaimed, and newspaper columnist, founder of her own public relations firm. And she used to write for the Daily News, and she was a drama teacher. These are the women behind CARIFESTA. That's what I think anyway. Accordingly, we wish to celebrate you on this 45th anniversary of the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts in the Diamond Jubilee of Jamaica, and also the 45th anniversary of CARIFESTA 76. So we have invited you to share your memories of CARICOM with us, but very importantly, to share with us what is your assessment of the continuing relevance, I put in a word now, that means that me already biased, the continuing relevance of CARIFESTA and how that relevance of CARIFESTA reflects itself in the relevance of the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, and then we're going to dance. I want to begin with you, Mrs. McDonald. No, I want to begin with you because you're a money lady. No, she's not. You're a money lady. And sometimes we wonder if the arts have to cost so much. And sometimes we say, why are we spending so much money on something whose value is not mathematically, always mathematically calculated? So talk to us about your financial experience in general, specifically at CARIFESTA, and then the arts.
It's good to remember 45 years ago, but I have been pulling on the memory and I'm getting some things. Ministry of Finance. That's actually relevant. Because when I got that in 1975, Jamaica hosted the government federal government at the Terraces. And I was working at the Ministry of Finance. And I was asked if I would come and help them.
Just type in Zoom and just put in the link.
So I worked with the individual at the ministry, office of the Prime Minister, and then later that year, the Horace Barber, who you all know was the financial secretary, and then you get a call. I would say, the accounts branch at the Ministry of Finance. When you get a call from the financial secretary, what did you do or what did you not do? And when I went, he just said, Mrs. McDonald, I am seconding you to the office of the Prime Minister. You are going to be responsible for the Caribbean Festival of Arts. You are going to set up the office. You are going to make sure everything happens. And you're going to spend the money for us. So I said, okay. No, I've never done this before. But we had a gentleman heading CARIFESTA by the name of Wycliffe Belaine. Well, he said his name was Belaine. And we had a Mr. Sam Hillary.
Yes.
And we had Mrs. Wright.
And Merrick Needham.
And Merrick Needham.
And Sabrina.
George Carton.
Yes, Eric Overley was part of the team.
Mr. Carter. George Carter.
George Carter.
George Carter.
Yeah.
Yes, all those names you would know. And so I said, okay. And he says, I'm sending you from now. Caribbean Festival of Arts is the following year. And we're going to give you a budget. And you are going to make sure that you spend it wisely. And I said, okay. And off I was at the office of the Prime Minister. And what an experience. It's the first time I was working with all these arty people. And I found out then that arty people didn't necessarily conform to, they wanted some money and they wanted it now. So I was getting my—
No procurement business.
we want the money, we want it now.
Yes, we want the money, I want it now. And if I say, but it's not in the budget, well, you have to find it. So, you know, coming from the civil service, that's not how you operate. But I realized that if you work with people, you can get what they want in a timely manner. Might not be right now. For instance, I'm going to tell you this story. Arnold Bertram, he was part of the ministry team. And one day he just came in my office and said, Vilma, I need 1,000 flags. And I looked at him and he said, yes, I want these miniature flags so that every child who is going to go out there for the gala will have these flags. And I said, it's not in the budget. He says, it's not in the budget. Mr. Bennett told me that I'm to speak with you because you will make it happen.
Excuse me.
I said, okay. And then I went to Mr. Bennett. And then he said, well, I didn't tell him that you will give him enough. I told him he's come to you. You must work it out.
Right.
I'm making a note that we have to put you on the delegation that we're taking to the Ministry of Finance.
All right.
So that they understand how things arise in the process of artistic creations. I mean that very seriously, because persons do not understand that things arise in the process of creating art. So, Mrs. Jean Lowrie-Chin, tell us how you became involved with CARIFESTA.
Well, it was interesting because I had left the Daily News to go and teach at Calabar, went away with my husband, came back and heard there were 10 phone calls from Bishop Bennett. He told me he had been asked to do a gala for President Nyerere. And he said, I just read something you wrote and it was fabulous and you and only you can write my press releases. I said, but Mr. Bennett, I'm going for a job. No problem, I'll send a car for you. So at the end of the day, he sends the car and then our great gala, it got flooded out, but he said, you're staying on the CARIFESTA team. So I had to resign my job at Calabar and join the team full time. And one thing sticks out in my
I do
memory.
not want us to miss that. The year before CARIFESTA,
Yes,
President Nyerere came to Jamaica.
that's right, the year before.
So
Yes.
that laid some kind of a template as to
Yes.
how you would approach the gala.
It did, because he had thousands of people in the stadium spelling out Uhuru. I mean, and we said, well, how is he going to get it done? But he got it done. And I remember in this meeting, he was describing his grand plans. And this lady said, that's impossible, Mr. Bennett. And he just straightened up himself and just said, my dear, you will always be a bystander in life's passing parade.
If you dare to use the word impossible.
Yes. And you know, those are some of the things that stay with you. Now, as to Vilma, when Vilma hold a shilling, the lion sweat. Okay? So Vilma had us on the manners.
You need to explain to us what that means.
Because
when Vilma hold a shilling, the lion sweat.
The coin, the shilling we used to use before, the
Had
dollar,
the lion
had
on
a
it.
lion on it.
Right?
So I'm saying when Vilma hold a shilling, the lion sweat.
She's not letting it go.
Nah,
Okay.
unless you come with a good reason.
Okay.
But you know, she just managed that. What was amazing about her, her children were little and she would arrive on time at the office and say, well, I just did 3 loads of laundry, dropped the children to school, and here I am.
And isn't that what International Women's Day
You know,
forces
so
us to
amazing.
look at how
And
we
then-
multitask
Yes.
without being able to leave anything behind.
Right. And then Lorna now was always writing. Yes, she did. She was the one who created the slogan for CARIFESTA, People of the Sun, for CARIFESTA 76. People of the Sun in all their glory. That was Lorna's slogan. Grand. And but she had us in stitches because there was a soca song about feeling hot, hot, hot. And she was telling me about dance. I poor me don't know nothing about this dance. And she said, okay, I'll show you. One piece of whining Lorna put down in the office.
I don't
She
remember
did.
that.
You would
wouldn't
not remember that.
No.
Honestly,
Was
don't
that the first
remember
time
that.
that you were meeting? You met at CARIFESTA?
No, I don't think so. I would not have danced like that the first time I met you, but honestly, I don't remember the dance.
But you do remember people of the sun in all their glory.
Well, when Jean is finished, I'll tell them my
And she also
version.
had this yellow patch. She was always putting on her poetry. And I remember this poet from Guyana, Robin Dobrew. Oh my God. He just fell in love with Lorna.
Suriname. From
Suriname.
Suriname.
Oh my God. He just fell in love with Lorna. Lorna is like, oh my gosh, this man is calling me all the time. But of course, you know, Lorna is Lorna. She walks in and she just commands the room.
Stop, please. Let me tell you about
your
you.
version. Yes.
But it was a wonderful experience. We had Merritt Needham, Eric Coverley, all these wonderful people.
Oh, thank you. So look, this is such an honor, really, because I honestly have always thought, all these years since CARIFESTA, that if we could have made a mod, if we knew what we were doing then, we would have maybe written down a lot of the things because it was uncharted territory.
It was.
And the fact that Mr. Bennett is one of the greatest Jamaicans that has ever, Jamaica has ever produced. He's a visionary, and these days we lack visionaries.
Yeah.
We don't have people who can dream on that stage. Can I understand this?
Yes, please.
Mr. Bennett
So hot.
had this vision that was so, as Jean rightly said, people kept saying it was impossible. You know, to dream the impossible dream.
Yes.
He dreamed the impossible dream. And nobody could see how it was going to come to pass, but he saw it. And what he needed then was the anchoring in the real world. And Vilma provided that, because the minute he came up with one of these like 3,000 Africans coming down the McDonald tunnel dressed in African robe. It's true. And Mortimer Planner, who became my dear friend after that.
Yes, Morty.
And nobody could see it, but he could see it. So all we had to do was line up behind him and trust him. I learned to trust people's vision from working on CARIFESTA. And Mr. McDonald, really, you're upset by God. Because if you didn't just understand that somehow you couldn't see it, but you could believe that it was going to come to pass.
Yes.
So you would just back him up and supply him. And then I said something about Jean. Jean laid her foundation as a very important Jamaican woman in CARIFESTA, as far as I could see. She was always an extremely serious and business-like person, unlike me. But she always had a sense of responsibility, and Mr. Bennett trusted her implicitly. He just knew that no matter, and she was quite young, but somehow she exuded this air of confidence and capability. And that lent a lot to bringing everything together. People have said to me, I think the late Norman Durban said that standing in the stadium, in the stadium, and the day when the CARIFESTA came, when it all came together, was his proudest moment of life as a Jamaican. A lot of people feel that way.
Yes.
That they have never in their lives felt more proud to be a Jamaican. And every year people try to replicate the gala. It will never happen.
It will never happen.
No.
Sorry, it will never happen.
We need a visionary.
Because we don't have a visionary like Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
You need a leader. You need somebody who knows exactly what they're doing and can see like 3 steps ahead.
Yes.
Nobody could tell me that. I think the way we began to be proud of being our Africanness and our Blackness, in many ways, it was tied to something like, if you saw Mortimer Planner, who was a huge man, big, tall, his voice was like thunder. He never had to use a microphone at any point. And if you saw him coming down the McDonald's tunnel with his queen, and then followed by this, and that's not, it wasn't a little patched together thing,
No.
The costumes were beautifully designed and rendered.
Emma Crooks.
Yes, and when you just see these people coming down in their hundreds and it had to be changed. And then the school children, hundreds and hundreds of school children, and singing folk. It was just the most amazing thing. So I want to say, I know what Gina remembers of me is that hot, I don't remember it. what I do remember is that I'm very, very grateful to have been part of that team, because I learned a whole lot. I actually, just very quickly, what happened to me, I'll talk about jobs, was that I was working as a creative director at an advertising agency. And I don't know how come they gave the advertising account to this company, but I did it, I worked on it. And we wrote a film. It was a short film actually to promote it, and we went around the islands and recorded it. But halfway through it, I thought, I don't want to work in advertising anymore. I want to just throw myself full time into this thing. I couldn't see CARIFESTA happening without me. So I resigned my job. I just gave it up. I was single. I wasn't doing anything. And I just resigned my job and I went to work full time. That's how I went to work at CARIFESTA. I never had a job afterwards. I wasn't thinking about that. But I couldn't allow something like that to go by without me. I just felt I had to be a part of it. And Vilma, thank you. Jean, thank you. It was an incredible experience. Thank you.
I want to underscore a couple of things before we continue.
Yes.
Some of it that make the arts work and some of the lessons that Edna Manley College could take away as we rise and respond. Just being daring.
Yes, daring to dream.
Daring to dream.
Yeah. Dream big.
And to dream big and to do the impossible. Otherwise, you will end up as a spectator.
In life's passing parade.
In life's passing parade. Standards, having standards that will not yield, that you will not yield. We want to underscore that.
Also, having the courage when people don't understand you to just press on. Because there's a lot of times when everybody said, what is it? And everybody used to, let us face it, we used to laugh at him. We used to poke fun at Mr. Bennett. Lovingly, but people, because he was so grand.
He was always grand.
That's right.
Grandiose.
Everything was on a huge cinematic scale.
Yes.
I think he had done some workshops in Hollywood. I'm serious. So he did.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yes, and I think like Eastern Leto, the Desilu, the Desilu Playhouse. Yes.
Right. Okay.
So I just want to say there are supplements and supplements, but Lorna wrote the most fabulous copy for the CARIFESTA supplement.
And we were trying to dig it out.
It can be found at the Gleaner and I think at the Institute.
You know what? There's nothing like doing something with love, and all of us love.
Yes.
This
And
program.
also the chapter you wrote in the history of Jamaican theatre by Hazel and Wycliffe Bennett, which I recommend to all the students here. Right. So her account is in there.
Yes,
And my little account is in
we're multi-talking because that's what artists do.
Yes.
But the other thing I want to say is that we're calling some names that our students need to be made aware of if they're not aware. So say a little bit more about Mortimer Planocon. I know they will recognize George Carter and Merrick Needham and so on, but I don't know how many of us.
He was James. He was a Rusty. He was Bob Marley's spirit. He was Bob Marley's mentor.
Yes, he was.
He taught him when Bob Marley became a Rastafarian. It was, true. He was his guru, if you call it that. But he was also just somebody who was one of the most effective photographs I've ever seen in my life, period. It's a picture of Plano standing at the door of one of the doors of no return in Ghana. And he looks like he has walked across the sea and come back to Africa. If you see it, you get the chills. He was kind of the embodiment of of Africanness in Jamaica. And he never wavered from beginning to end. He just went straight through.
Let's go back to
Powerful
that embodiment of Africanness in Jamaica, because you attributed CARIFESTA 76 to awakening some of that in you.
Yes.
Would you say it spread to the rest of the population?
Wouldn't you say that, Jean?
It
I have no
certainly
doubt.
did. When I posted about this yesterday, Wayne Chen said, listen, my family traveled from Mandeville to come to Kingston for CARIFESTA because it was such a big deal in Jamaica. People traveled from the rural parts to come. And also we traveled to Montego Bay and other places so we could share all these performances all over. It took over the country.
How are those sentiments still relevant in 2022? Relevant to Jamaica, relevant to Jamaica 60, and relevant to Edna Manley College at 45?
I think it's even more relevant now than it was then, because the way the world is now, we're in danger of forgetting all kinds of things about ourselves, And one of the lovely things about CARIFESTA is that it involved hundreds and thousands of school children were involved in it.
Yes.
And every single one of them would have had a memory of being part of something that was so uplifting spiritually in every way, I think I'm going back. This morning I woke up thinking about visionaries. And I think that's what we want. We need people who have big visions and who are not afraid to just say, trust me, come along with me because I'm taking you to something that is really great. And I don't know if Mr. Bennett's hearing us wherever he is. Maybe he can, you know.
Principal Garrett just joined us,
Oh.
and she certainly has big visions for where the college should go and needs to go. And a little while, we will ask you to share that vision as part of this package.
I was going to add to what Lorna said about the children. My children were young, and everything that I'm doing, I kind of pull them with me. And in the summer before CARIFESTA, Mr. Bennett said he wanted hundreds of children to come and help to make costumes for the Aztec dance. And my 3 little children were up at the Students' Union using plastic and making, yes, he had this vision. And remember, I go back to say that all this vision that he had was not in any budget.
At this point in time, I want to recognize
you anchored the whole thing.
I just want to add this. Mr. Bennett, when I was told that I was going there, Mr. Barber said to me that 2 persons had gone there before and Mr. Bennett ran them. And I said, well, I didn't know him. So I said, so how you know you're not going to run me? He said, well, you are going to go equipped so that he will. And I went there, say, armed with all my books, you know, the financial administration and all the act, everything. And every time he opened his mouth, I said, let me look in the book and see if that can be accommodated. And eventually, no, because what we did was we looked at the amount of money that was there. And if we felt that this could be accommodated, we could shift this from here to there, because I was given that latitude. And one day he said to me, Mrs. McDonald, you are coming to all my meetings with all my
creative staff, yes.
Creative people.
Yes.
And I said, no, I don't need to come. He says, yes, I want you there. And this room, I don't know if you remember, this room. And he put a chair beside him. And he said, Mrs. McDonald is going to sit here. And let me tell all of you, anything she says, I say.
Fantastic.
Because by that time, he saw how we were trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
Trying to make the impossible happen.
One of the objectives of the Edna Manley 45th anniversary of the college is $45 million that we want to raise. And so I'm just repeating a line that you said. For all the board members who are with us on Zoom, for all the people in the private sector who will go to YouTube and hear this, there is no budget for the vision.
No.
The vision grows and then the budget follows. Sometimes when we look at national events, and I'm going to give the example of the Grand Gala, people say, you really spend so much money on the Grand Gala. Jean, is it possible to spend too much money on an activity like this, on growing the arts?
Makes such a difference to people's love of country, dedication to country, loyalty to country.
So that there are things that cannot always be mathematically computed.
No. Well, you see, I keep coming back to the spiritual value of something like that. Who would have known that 45 years later, there are people who still, it's a touchstone. People look back at that day in the stadium and say, I was never more proud to be a Jamaican.
Yes.
People look back at that day and they said, I say my children can think of themselves as not something that, they can envision themselves one day being part of a really big world, because that's what it did for us. You know, because we're island people, very often we suffer from, you know, we can be very small-minded. You know, that lets us start petty and small and mean. But what that did for us, it showed us that we were part of a really big world. Mr. Bennett he had us, you know, all New Orleans was part of CARIFESTA.
Yes.
You did. Most people don't know that, but he insisted that that part of that was part of the Caribbean culture. So we had people, we had our representatives from New Orleans, and we had people from Mexico, and all the Spanish-speaking Caribbean,
Central America.
It was just absolutely wonderful. For the first time, I think it's the only time in my life in Jamaica I've ever been conscious that we were part of the Caribbean is a huge, huge place, and they were a part of a place where people spoke different languages, but also he also showed us that we had much more in common than we had. That put us apart. And I think if you're talking about Edna Manley, I think that is more and more we're going to have to do that. No matter what anybody says, one day there's going to be a federation. And the arts are always the driver. The arts will always be the driver of anything like that. More and more we have to start looking to the rest of the Caribbean and making, alliances with the rest of the Caribbean.
Yes. And so that I see the vice principal and the deans nodding their heads. It isn't just that we attract people from the Caribbean to come here, but that we make our mark as a Caribbean institution. And then the very important point you raise about what is the Caribbean, is it a geographical concept? Is it a diaspora concept, a political concept, a historical concept? And what is the role of the Edna Manley College 45 years after CARIFESTA and 45 years after it first came into being in bringing all of those concepts together to make our mark in the world?
Absolutely. The artists are always the drivers, and you should just know that. Reserve that in your heart. That is what you do. That is what art does. It speaks across all barriers.
I want to ask about documentation. And I know I'm hurrying the discussion along because we have only 90 minutes and you two ladies have to go and you have to dance before you go. But Lorna will remain with us. I see all of the congratulations coming into the chat, which we are not able to read all of them. Persons are absolutely moved. There is one that said, I participated and my heart filled to see all the colors and the movement in unison and the music. I agree with you, Lorna. And then there are authors in the audience, I can't call all of your name, who are celebrating this as great pioneering work and who are saying what a great way to celebrate International Women's Day. Our board chair is also in the audience. I wanted to ask you about documentation, Lorna. You know how long me have this book? From it costs £10.
That's
10 shillings, sorry, 10 shillings.
I worked on this book.
Right?
I worked on this book with none other than the John Hearn, the great Jamaican writer. And I remember I had to go up and down to Kingston with him. So he and I would be driving through New Kingston, and he's there telling me about the politics, because the politics was big on John Hearn mind at that time. And I'm saying, oh God, why I have to do this? I have to listen to him. But anyway, no, he was very mad with Mr. Manley. Anyway, but I remember working on this, and I remember just thinking what a privilege it was to be able to just have, I
tell us some of the authors who are in that anthology.
Well,
okay,
okay, here we are. There's John Hearn. There's an excerpt from Beyond the Boundary by Sarah James, which is, everybody has to read that.
Yes.
And Aimé Césaire, Nicolas Guillen, Octavio Paz, René de Pestre. I mean, I'm telling you, Jan Carew, who's from Guyana, Laming is from Barbados, Roberta Retamar from Cuba, Derek Walcott, Sylvia Winter, Rex Nettleford, Robin the Brew that Jean is trying to bring me down. Yes. Wilson Harris, Dennis Williams, and Kamal Brathwaite. All of these, several of these people went on, at least 3 of them went on to win Nobel Prizes.
Yes.
Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Carlos, Gordon Roller became, a major critic. So it was kind of ahead of its time because again, we were looking, we couldn't see what was going to happen, but we had a sense that some greatness was here. And it was a chance to document this greatness and big up this greatness. Because, everybody I know has this book values it. And we should probably look about reprinting it one of these.
The importance of that last statement for me that you made, Lorna, is that we know that we are not just passing through.
No.
We know that we are not just doing a job to earn a living. We don't know what's going to happen next. but we know something wonderful is about to explode and we need to be a part of it.
Absolutely. You know, I was just, I just gave it, I was involved in something a couple of days ago. And I was talking about the word dread. You know, Jamaicans, any of you ever really considered dread? Dread is a very interesting word. Because what dread is that you're frightened, you're apprehensive, but you're also going to discover something. When you dread something, you don't want it to happen, but somehow you know some revelation is involved in it.
You know, when they asked Michael Manley why he painted the fence at the gunpoint.
Yes,
red,
yes.
he
It's
said
red.
it's red because it's red.
Yes.
Gene, documentation. So yes, I agree that not only should it be reprinted or republished, but there are other things that have not been documented about CARIFESTA. And I think Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts hereby charge Jean, Vilma, and Lorna to come and sit with us as part of our research team and document what's inside of your head so that we can all. Do I hear amen? Amen. You are documented in this.
Yes, and Lorna is in
And
there.
Lorna as well.
Yes, yes.
Did you? Yes, Wycliffe had wonderful things to say. Is there something out of that you want? And me as well, but not because of CARIFESTA. Is there anything in that
Well,
you want
Lorna
to read?
wrote in here, and I think it would be great to use what Lorna said, but it's to find it now, you
Don't
know?
bother, Jean. It's all right.
All right, all right,
All
time
right.
is going.
Time is
But
going.
please, everybody, try to get this book. It is so rich, not just about CARIFESTA, but about Jamaican theatre.
And it's the last thing, it's the last gift that Mr. Bennett gave to Jamaica
Yes.
before he went on to perform in a different kind of Hollywood.
Yes. That's a lovely thing to have said. He was a very beautiful man, and we should find
Oh,
ways.
yes.
I don't know if he has
was,
any,
he was.
if there's anything in this college that is dedicated to him at the
Something
drama
should be
school or
dedicated
something.
to him.
But today would be a good day to start thinking about
Yes, yes.
something in, you know, maybe we should start a fellowship or something in Mr. Bennett's name.
As the principal,
Nobody
they're
did more
taking
for
notes.
Jamaica than that,
Yes.
you know, for the arts
For
in
the
Jamaica.
arts.
For the
Oh,
arts.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I wanted to ask you to perform a piece of from Soul Dance. I asked you if there was one of your poems you wanted to read, yes, and you found me up same way. And you, with your background in netball, you are going to lead us in this dance.
Oh, I thought she was going to do a downturn.
Well, that's true.
Slam dunk.
So we're going to dance and,
Yes.
and allow you to leave,
Thank
and then we will continue the conversation with Lorna.
But
No, can I
I
just-
must end on the financial to tell you all that with all the expenditure that took place in CARIFESTA, at the end of the day, we were able to give back some money to the Ministry of Finance. Mr. Barber wrote me a beautiful letter because he said it was the first time that something like this, that the money wasn't, but it happened,
Right.
and no short change, everything happened.
And that's also important for us to know
Yes.
that we're not starving artists.
Governance.
We governance. Thank you very
Governance.
much. And we
It
can return
worked.
profits.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry, just one, but I think it probably had a lot to do with the fact that Mr. Bennett gave you the authority. You know, when you're talking about like working together as the creative team and the, you know, the financial team. I thought that was so beautiful that he brought you to the meeting and told everybody that you have the authority.
Yes.
And that would have made a lot of the difference, you know.
And let me also tell you that I had a little team, you know, and one member of the team was Jean Lowrie-Chin's brother, Sydney.
Yes, yes.
3 of us. And sometimes the people at the stadium didn't like how we operated because we had to get documentation to make a payment, and they came and threatened us. Lock our door and threatened to kill us.
That's important, that you weren't just handing out the money without accounting for it, hence you were able to return this
I'm sure
profit.
Sydney remembers that.
Yeah.
I want us to just do the little dance. For those of you, I'm very serious, we have to dance. For those of us who don't know the dance, Kerry in our spiking heel shoes is going to demonstrate some of the steps. All of you out there in Zoom land, wherever you are now going to learn the electric boogie. Come out, please get the music ready. Mr. Sims, who was to be your partner again? No man. Mrs. Lowrie-Chin, we got you a partner.
Oh,
Who was to be your partner? I assigned you a partner. Yes. So now.
it's a line dance. Everybody can do it.
Yes. Well, can we all stand, principal?
Okay.
Would you join us here, please? Okay.
Oh, you know that. Oh, yes, you would have known. You would have known.
This is why it is called electric boogie. Somebody asked me this morning, why is it called electric boogie? Because we end all of our International Women's Day celebrations dancing to the electric boogie. And 1 year, Marcia Griffiths herself was our celebrant. Yes, yes.
Okay, so we're going to do, everybody on Zoom land, expect you to join us. So we're just going to do a quick demonstration. If you're on Zoom land, we can't mirror you, but just know that I'm going to say, so we're going to go to the right, 2, 3, 4, to the left, 2, 3, 4, back, 2, 3, 4. Then the electricity, rock front, rock back. Then you're gonna step, do a nice little kick. This is where your creativity can come, right? You can do a little kick, that's all big kick and kick you off, right? So kick, step, 2, 3, 4. To the left, 2, 3. Going back, and forward, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the left, 2, 3, 4. To the left, 2, 3, 4. Front and back and step, kick. All right, we'll do it again slower. 5, slower. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left, 2, 3, back, 2, 3, good. 4. Touch front, touch back, and step, kick. 1, to the left, 2, watch your knee now. 4, back, 2, 3, and touch front, and back, and step, kick, and back.
Music time.
3, left.
Music.
Yes. 2, 3.
We got it.
You can't see it, it's electric. You gotta see it, it's electric. Ooh, it's shocking. It's electric. Think that Mr. Kelly with the fun, Mr. Kelly, she's a movie. You gotta know it, it's electric. You can't hold it, it's electric. Woogie, 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 but you know it. I'll teach you the electric slide. It's electric. You can't resist it. It's electric. You can't do
Thanks, everybody. Thanks. We're going to continue our conversation.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Yes. We will continue. Could we come back to order, please? Could we come back to order?
Hello, can we come back to order, please? Yes.
Thanks, everybody. We are acknowledging all the greetings. We are acknowledging greetings from Toronto. This is such a powerful gathering of women as you reminisce about CARIFESTA. I attended the first one in Guyana, and your recollections bring back many fond memories of my youth. Let's continue to network, and we will see a Guyana flag, but you're only telling us who your iPhone is. So could you also post, everybody, you could also post your email addresses so that we may keep in touch with you. Thank you, Registry, for joining in. Jean Scott. Jean Scott. Jean Scott, can you tell us where you're joining from? Forgive me for not recognizing the name. Did I already recognize our board chair? I think so. And now let us just continue the discussion with Lorna. Before we took the break, and we have to catch up with Mrs. Chin, Mrs. Lowrie-Chin, and Mrs. McDonald. They have a board meeting of the CCRP, and they did say they had to leave at 1. It is 8 minutes past 1, so they're going to be late-ish for the meeting. But that's okay.
On International Women's Day, the host muted.
So we're back.
Thank you very much. Pardon me. My laptop is muted. It's muted.
So sorry about that. We were
making sure that all the tech, he's muted me again.
Oh, leave it muted. Ah, okay.
I'm so sorry. Yes, I'm being heard from the microphone, and therefore I need not turn on my computer. So I'm learning that. Thank you very much. So I was saying to the audience that Mrs. McDonald and Mrs. Jean Lowrie-Chin have a meeting that they had previously advised us of. So we knew that they would be leaving at this time. But here we are. With longtime friend and traveler and pioneer in so many aspects of theater. Did you ever come to the art school at Edna Manley College?
Yes, I went to the School of Art when it was down on North Street, before we had this nice big building. I did the foundation course there, and then I went to the School of the Art Students League in New York. But it was one of the loveliest years of my life. It was it was a really small school then. But we had really, I mean, it was Barry Watson, Gene Hyde, and people like Kofi Kaiga, Chris Gonzalez. You know, it was a stellar kind of staff they had, teaching staff they had there, and it was not very many of us. So we all had it was lovely, and we're still friends. All of us who went to school there at that time are still in touch, and we're still friends.
Thank you for reminding us of some of those names.
Yeah.
Whom we certainly should find an opportunity
Jean Pearson
to celebrate.
Jean was one of our teachers.
Kofi Kaiga.
Yes. Colin Garland, although Mr. Garland was a weird teacher. No, I shouldn't say that. Like, he would come around and say, like, he drawing himself. I don't like that drawing. So what's wrong with it? I don't know. I just don't like it. You know, that's not helpful. But anyway. But it was lovely. It was like we were like a big family. There were not many of us, and it was very nice. None of the nice amenities though. You had to go to the China shop at the corner and buy a lunch, buy like a cocoa bread and patty.
I want to come back to that communal, community, supportive spirit between and among artists.
Yes.
Because I do not know that we're seeing so much of it today.
That's a pity.
I do know that some of the artists that we revere, such as Marjorie Wiley and Louise Bennett and Rex Nettleford and Easton Lee, operated like a family and supported one another.
Well, you know, I came to the conclusion early that being an artist is that part of being a lodge. You know, like, oh, you know, so your father and so used to be in a lodge. Because you all speak the same language, you all understand things that most other people do not understand. You could say you have access to esoteric information, but still the practice kind of binds it together. And if you want to speak about, you know, the arts as a community, in history's field, the history of art with you know, people, groups of artists who got together to, you know, if you're talking about the Impressionists in France, they all hung out together. They were all love and they all supported. They never had to agree all the time, but they felt that they were obligated to support each other, you know. And I think things like that, if we need, sometimes we can look back to look forward. We can, you know, so we could look at that some more. There are terrible examples in Jamaica of artists suffering, you know. Henry Daly, that said his hunger killed Mr. Daly, you know. I have a poem called Hunger Belly Killed Daly, because they said that he was so poor, and but that shouldn't have happened. That should never have happened. So when you have your friends and your community, you need to be checking in with them all the time, and especially in this COVID thing here. It's hard on creative people because your imagination never stops working. So most people can just watch TV, but you have the TV and you have your own TV going all the time. So I think that it would be wonderful if you just resolve to yourself to just, you know, keep checking on your friends, or your people, even if you don't, it's not your close friend. If you come across your mind, because the other thing about artists, we have access to other things. We know things sometimes. So if you have a feeling, just check your friend, because it isn't. Everybody in the world right now is fighting a very hard battle.
I want to go there with you about the things that artists know, and then I want to open up for discussions, and then I'm going to give Principal the last word. The things that artists know. Sometimes artists say, but the rest of the world don't know what we know and don't understand it in the same way.
Yeah.
What can we do to bridge that communication divide?
They're never going to know, and that's not that you don't know about. I don't feel in a way I can't do mathematics, and I used to get all 1 in maths, you know. You know what I used to do?
1 out of 4.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I used to do? I used to just draw a line on it and just put anything. Do you do? Yes. And then it was mark it down, you know. And
but I love that reassurance. They don't have to know. It just triggered something in me. I don't have to know medicine.
Exactly.
I don't have to know how to fly a plane. I just have to know that I need it and that somebody is in charge of what I need. So maybe we should stop apologizing. I don't know. But we need to convince them that they need what we have.
What they do, you know. Well, okay. I think if there's no society that doesn't have music, for example, in the history of the world, nobody apparently says every single society has music. And, you know, you can look back to all the, you know, Guyana, we're talking, you know, the petroglyphs in Guyana, those cave drawings. We have those cave drawings like in Chauvet in France and all of that too. So people are always drawing and making music and making art. So it just speaks to the human spirit. Obviously, there's something in human beings that we need to express it through art, through music, through dance, through those things, you know. So it's a given. I wouldn't even bother wasting any time defending it. It is just a given. And if you do it in such a way, people will come to you and they will need it, and you do it with integrity and purity of heart. Listen, when Bob Marley was writing those little songs down the interest, did you think he thought what would become of his life became? No. But he was just doing it because, you know what I always tell people? I wrote because I had to. I had no choice. It wasn't like, say, I was thinking, boy, if I write, I will get a prize. When I started writing, there was no prize to get. There was no fellowship to get, there was nothing. I only started writing because if I didn't write, I would have died.
And you spoke earlier about the
Yes.
spiritual awakening of the
Yes.
art.
So you do, it's your, if you regard it as your gift, I call what I do my gift from the divine. That's what God gave me to do. And when you get a gift like that, you get help. Trust me, the help will come. If you're doing it in such a way that you just, it's like you get a nice gift and you have to look after it, the help will come.
At this point in time, I do want to, I want to prevail upon Miss Lorna to say at least one poem. And me like Harvey River, me like I Am Becoming My Mother, me like the whole of them. Yeah, but I don't. Okay, but me not know Hungry Belly.
Great Stones.
But I don't know Hungry Belly kill daily.
I would have to go
So,
find.
right, so read one of those
Thank
for
you.
us. In the meantime, I want to thank everybody who coming in from Maryland and far places, and to thank those of you who have heeded the invitation to send us your email addresses. Thank you very much. And that person who keeps saying you all need benefactors and sponsors, write it again, please. So the benefactors and sponsors will know that they are invited to make contribution. Thank you, Jean Scott, for telling us where you are coming in from. Yes, so the benefactors and sponsors will know that we have this target of $45 million, which we know, as Vilma McDonald and Jean Lowrie-Chin told us, is not enough to fit the vision. So we have the vision, and $45 million will help us achieve a part of it. So you can take out your checkbook now. You can call the marketing department at Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, and you can say that you would like to be a sponsor and a benefactor. Mount Vernon, New York, thank you very much. And now I think that Sister Lorna, from the Caribbean. Anybody? Yeah, I'm sure people from the Caribbean are there, but I think they just want us to know that they're joining us from faraway places. Faith, where are you? Call out anybody else's name. EMC Registry, we're happy to see you. Thank you very much. Other people from the Caribbean, if you're there, just let us. Somebody said she's from Guyana. Yes, thank you very much. Go ahead, please, Miss Lorna.
Okay, so you want me to read Mother the Great Stones? Yeah. Okay. Mother the Great Stones got to move. Mother, one stone is wedged across the hole in our history and sealed with blood wax. In this hole is our side of the story: exact figures, head counts, burial artifacts, documents, lists, maps, showing up our way up through the stars, lockets of brass containing all textures of hair clippings. It is a half that has never been told, and some of us must tell it. Mother, there's a stone on the hearts of some women and men, something like an onyx, cabochon cut, which hung on the wearer seeds bad dreams. Speaking for the small dreamers of this earth, plagued with nightmares, yearning for healing dreams, we want these stones to move. Upon an evening like this, Mother, when one year is making way for another, in a ceremony attended by a show of silver stars, Mother see the moon, milk-fed, herself a nursing mother, and we think of our children and the stones upon their future, and we want these stones to move. For the year going out came in fat at first, but towards the harvest it grew lean, and many mouth corners gathered white, and another kind of poison, powdered white, was brought in to replace what was green. And death sells it with one hand, and with the other death palms are gone. And then death gets its pictures in the papers asking, where does all this death come from? Mother, stones are pillows, for the homeless sleep on concrete sheets. Stone flavors soup, stone is no meat, for the hard-hearted giving our children stones to eat. Mother, the great stones over mankind got to move. It's been 10,000 years we've been watching them now, from various points in the universe. from the time of our birth as points of light in the eternal coiled workings of the cosmos. Roll away stone of poison powders come to blot out the hope of our young. Move stone of sacrificial lives we breed to feed the suicide gods of tribalism. From across the pathway to Mount Morning, site of the rose quartz fountain, brimming anise and star water, bright fragrant for our children's future. Mother, these great stones have got to move.
Thank you. And you. And you said that when you first started to write, there were no prizes to get then, but we're celebrating that you received an Institute of Jamaica Centenary Medal in 1981, the Musgrave Medal in 1987, Commonwealth Poetry Prize in 1986, and a whole lot more.
Tell them all these things.
Don't tell them. I don't have to tell them. And so we salute and celebrate you in your own right for what you've given to all of us, for being part of the foundation stone of the Edna Manley College.
Yes,
yes, that we can say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm very proud of that. I always say I was trained as a painter, and that's some I received my foundation training right down there.
And so may I invite our principal to say a word or two. Would you like me to, this microphone for principal, please, Jessie? Yes. and then come out, you can get ready to take us out with the electric boogie after principal.
Okay. All right, so we have the inimitable Lorna Goodison in the house today. We lost Jean and we lost Vilma. I'm happy that Vilma is not here because what I'm going to say, I don't know if I would have had the courage to say that in her presence, right? So then she can't indict me when she's not here. But it's good to see Lorna Goodison, as everybody knows, and as Amina has already said, she's one of the, I prefer not to say stones in light of the poem she just read,
yes.
But she's one of the foundation rocks of this college. And yes, she has moved some stones of obstacles, and would have paved the way for Caribbean literature, among other things. She has told the story of Jamaican women in more ways than one. And today is International Women's Day, a day, what a fortuitous time to have her, right? I think we need to recognize that. A great woman who has rolled away some stones of skepticism, cynicism, rolled away some stones of doubts in order to create a path for Edna Manley and for all our students of literature and for all our literary artists and other artists too. May I share this? I passed by the School of Visual Arts recently and met a young man. I'm forgetting his name now. He's not going to forgive me for forgetting his name because it should have been imprinted in my mind. But I met that young man and he took the shards of glass from a burnt out building there, and he made something out of it. And he titled his piece, see him right there? He titled, no, that's not him. He titled his piece, making something out of nothing. And then I reminded him of Caribbean poets like you and Caribbean writers like this, Naipaul, although I have a little thing for him there. But I reminded him how he could incorporate it. He could incorporate poetry and narratives in his presentation. And he went home and he Googled and we had a conversation about it. And he enriched his artistic presentation with your poetry and with Naipaul. And countered the old Naipaul philosophy of the Caribbean not creating
Yes.
anything.
Nothing was created.
Nothing was created in the West Indies. So I'm really very happy to have you today. And I also want to say that indeed CARIFESTA was a unifier, still is a unifier. I'm not quite sure where we are now, but I know that we would have staged a whole lot of CARIFESTA things. I remember when we were on the verge of canceling CARIFESTA 10. And I'm trying to remember if the head of government who said it was Ralph Gonzalez. If it wasn't him, it's something that he would have said. But I remember that discussion in which one of the heads of government said, well, look here, we can't cancel a CARIFESTA. In the spirit of the visionary, in the spirit of the first CARIFESTA, we can't let it die by canceling one. And so we didn't cancel CARIFESTA 10. We worked assiduously, and the country which should have hosted it could not. And thankfully, Guyana, under then President Jagdeo, decided that he would host the CARIFESTA. And oh, what a CARIFESTA it was. It was Rex Nettleford's last CARIFESTA. So it was a really, really good thing that we had it. So CARIFESTA is a unifier. It certainly has contributed significantly to the regional integration movement, as your art has done, as the art of all the other artists have done. That question you ask, Amina, about artists becoming a family. Well, CARICOM is supposed to be a family of member states and Caribbean peoples, and the artist has a place in that, in advancing the integration movement and advancing the sense of family. I wish the Director of Culture, Dr. Hilary Brown, was with us. I was trying to get her to join online, but she hasn't responded to my WhatsApp yet. Maybe she's traveling, I don't know. But I'll ensure that she watched this, because if she were here, she would have been able to tell us where CARIFESTA is now, in terms of where it's coming from. And she would have had about 6 or so CARIFESTAs under her belt since she took up that post there. So in tribute to the CARICOM Secretariat and heads of government within CARICOM states who would have advanced and continued CARIFESTA, on International Women's Day, I also want to affirm Dr. Hilary Brown, who leads that charge from the CARICOM Secretariat. I agree also with Lorna that we need visionaries, but I also think that we need persons to translate that vision into positive action. And I think that is where we have fallen, because I felt sad when you said we can't, or we may not have another visionary like Wycliffe Bennett. And I'm not taking a thing.
I said that, I'm sorry. I'm just, maybe okay, can I rephrase that? I'm praying for other visionaries like
yes, because I am thinking that what he's done, what he's still doing in the work that he's left, and the very many persons that he's trained, it is an indictment on those of us whom he would have trained if they can't run with his vision.
That's true.
That's where I am going. So I'm really and truly saddened by that. And I hope that persons will rise up and respond to what Wycliffe would have left us, the legacy which he started and bequeathed us. And
he would say cool breeze.
Cool breeze. I hope that wind will blow in the minds and hearts of others, and they will rise up and respond with the creativity of which we are capable. And finally, I want to say that the vision I have for this place is not a big vision, Amina. It's a humble vision, and it is an attainable vision, right? It is simply that we have been the Cinderella of educational institutions for too long. we have achieved too much, and we have that much more to achieve, and we have been contributing significantly to the development of this nation and also to regional integration in such a way that we should not be the poor cousin, that we ought to be a regional institution. And by a regional institution, I don't necessarily mean an institution that just serves the region. That's what we are, no. But an institution to which all member states in the Caribbean community make their contribution as they do to the University of the West Indies. So I'm leading up to that now. I am seeing that in the next 5 years, that this college, Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, will be changing its name because it would have earned the right to do so, and to become Edna Manley University of the Visual and Performing Arts, a center of research in the arts, particularly regional art, a center of excellence in the arts. That's where we want to take this college. And you notice I don't say I, because it's one thing to be the visionary, it's another thing to be able to mobilize the kind of partnerships, mobilize people to buy into that vision and to work with us. So I need some doors. And yes, Jean, online, we need benefactors. But in needing benefactors, we have to get up, we have to rise, and we have to start the work here too. So the benefactors are not just going to come and hand over to us. They have to see what we're doing. They have to buy into what we're doing. They have to be convinced of our relevance. And it's all well and good to talk about it, but we are going to rise and respond to doing something about it. So we need the collective will, as well as the benefactors, to take Edna Manley College to Edna Manley University of the Visual and Performing Arts. And before that, and I'm seeing in my little crystal ball here, Lorna Goodison giving the inaugural lecture in that university. So
call it into
don't go nowhere here. Don't go nowhere anytime soon. Right? Don't go anywhere anytime soon, because I'm also seeing that cooperation with the University of the West Indies, where literary arts, where the literary arts is concerned. So thank you very much for stopping by in the cage today. I hope you will stop by more often.
When did you arrive?
Last night.
She just arrived.
I'm still sleeping.
I hope you will stop by more often and share with us your wealth of experience and knowledge and your art. Bless you. Thank you, Amina, for coordinating this. And it is making the impact that I anticipated that it would have made.
Thank you, Principal. Thank you so much. There are people who are saying that they're coming back to Jamaica now to help to build that dream. Yes, so clap them. About 3 people said that. The registry is reminding us that March 24 and 25 are our open days, and everyone is invited to come and see what we have to offer. Tomorrow is our annual Research in the Arts Day. Please come out to that. Join us online. On Thursday evening, we have our 13th gender lecture, and this year we're looking at the impact of the COVID pandemic, a gendered perspective, thank you, of the COVID pandemic on the small and medium-sized enterprises. And then Friday morning, we have coffee, tea, and defeminization of poverty, where we sit and chat with Professor Rosalia Hamilton. Happy International Women's Day, everyone, as we salute the accomplishments of women in all areas of life and taking it forward. We salute all the female members of this community, from bottom to middle to top. We salute all of the those people who support no more bias or whatever it is. Break the bias, which is the theme for this year. We welcome all the men amongst us who declare themselves as honorary feminists. Mr. Owen Blacker Ellis.
And may I say, Amina, listen, we have an International Women's Day. We've earned it, right? We have come a long way having it, but
Yes.
I won't begrudge the men. I see that sometime soon they should really have their International Men's Day.
November 19.
Right.
November 19.
And it should have
So we
kind
will
of
do something,
prominence
yes.
that the Women's Day have. But it is their half to be told, and they must tell it.
All right. So we're committed to mounting. We're committed to mounting an International Men's Day activity on November 19th. Thank you all who are coming in to join us. We salute Jean. We salute Vilma, and we salute you, Lorna. Thanks everybody. Now let's boogie. Queens High School was
It's electric. You gotta feel it. It's electric. Ooh, it's shocking. It's electric. You're gonna miss it with the problematic melody. She's a moving around. You gotta know it. It's electric. Then you can't hold it. It's electric. Let's down. But you know it's there.
Yes, you're dance partner there.
It's electric. Boogie, boogie, boogie. You can't resist it. It's electric. Boogie, boogie, boogie. You can't do without it. It's electric. Boogie, boogie, boogie. You're gonna miss somebody. She's a chicken, a feeling jolly. She's a moving around. Don't wanna lose it. It's electric. Boogie, boogie, boogie. But you can't lose it. It's electric. Boogie, boogie, boogie. But you know it's there. Teach you, I'll teach you the electric slide.